Hi, I'm Christian.
And I'm Angela, and we are married.
And bored.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, guys.
It's another wonderful episode of Married and Bored.
Wonderful, indeed.
Indeed. Well, so I hope you guys are all settled in whatever you're doing, whether you're exercising.
Nope. Not me.
Listening to us on your way to and from wherever you're going.
Mm-hmm.
What else could you be doing? Dishes?
Dishes. Yep.
Household chores.
This is the last podcast that you'll probably listen to tonight.
That is a great joke.
Nice. You know what? One of my favorite times to listen to podcasts is when I took the bus to and from work.
Yes.
So if you're on the bus, holla at your boy. I hear you and I see you.
Holla.
I actually fell asleep on the bus once and I missed my stop.
Were you listening to something wonderful?
I was 26 years old.
Well. So this was quite a while ago.
Yep. It was okay. I woke up two stops later and just walked like 3 blocks. It wasn't the end of the world. Okay. It was also St. Paul, Minnesota, and like 6 degrees, but
yes,
no bigs. Anyways, enough about me.
How about you guys?
Welcome, everyone, like Angela said, to another episode of our little podcast here, Married and Bored Podcast. We continue to have a lot of fun doing this, so let's jump into it. Angela, what's been going on with you?
Okay, what's up with me? Let's see. Well, this is not a Marvel Champions breakout episode, but I do have to say, we have Scarlet Witch. She's here.
Yep, we do.
And we've been playing through her deck and trying to see what we like with her. You know, it's funny, our kids have gotten used to using the Marvel card database.
Oh, yeah, they look up stuff on there all the time.
So her deck came in the mail, and the very next morning they were looking on there to see what to pair her with, and they're like, she's not here, it's not working. And I was like, yeah, nobody has submitted a new deck yet.
Yeah, well, we also pre-ordered through Fantasy Flight's website, and I think what the Marvel card database site does is they don't actually like allow you to create decks until it is officially released. So we got it like a few days early just because that's when it was shipped to us. I'm sure a lot of you got it as well, but we've been having a lot of fun with that for sure.
Yeah.
More to come on a future episode, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. So she plows through encounter cards, which is not necessarily good, but you know, we've been playing her mostly Justice. I think maybe one time I experimented with an aggression.
You were mad.
I experiment with aggression every day. No, and so, yeah, her Justice kind of counterbalances the fact that she plows through the encounter deck. So, yeah, she's been fun to play, and especially as the WandaVision series finale, or I guess season finale.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't have come at a perfect time because everyone was hyped about that character. Even, like, Quicksilver, you know, the month before, that kind of lined up with, like, his reveal in the show too. So those two characters are on a lot of people's minds, obviously, and they came at the right time.
Yes. Well, that's pretty much all that's up with me in board games.
Mm-hmm.
Besides what we're going to talk about on this whole entire episode.
True.
Okay, but what's up with you?
The same. We've been playing Marvel Champions a lot, which is why we do episodes on it now. So we're going to do another one after this one in a few weeks. So if you want to hear us chat more about Marvel Champions, check into that. So that's all I'll say about that. Other than that, what's been going on with me? I've been playing Stardew Valley with you, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then I got King's Dilemma for my birthday.
Yes.
It's one of those that I've wanted for a very long time. And if you don't know what King's Dilemma is, look it up. It's like
that's all we have to say to you.
It's a legacy game, and you play as a house of a royal blood. Think Game of Thrones, but instead of like going out and red wedding everybody, you kind of do the political side of everything, and you kind of make decisions for the overall kingdom.
Yes.
And what decisions you make in one game carries on to later games. It's very cool. I was sold on a Shut Up and Sit Down review of it a while ago. And I didn't buy it at the time. I had it in my cart. I remember even talking to you about this.
Yes.
Like, hey, should we get this game? And at the time we were like, well, it's a minimum 3 players. And you and I weren't playing much other than with each other. We normally do too. And so I was like, I'll just pass. I'll pass on this one. And then you couldn't find it for like 14 months.
Yeah, it was gone. We couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, the hype, that video just exploded that game basically. Everybody wanted it. And I hear it's great. I am a little nervous just because like legacy games and me don't mix well.
Right.
Because I like new experiences. Now, one could say that every time you play a legacy game, it's just a new experience of the story you're telling.
Exactly.
Yes.
That sounds like me.
And I love that. Like when I think about playing a video game, like that's what happens, right? You go through the story. Like I love like the Cyberpunk game. Like you just play a little bit, you find more of the story. The Avengers game, play a little bit, more of the story. And for whatever reason, how many legacy games have we tried and just kind of burnt out on?
Well, we tried Seafall.
Sorry, Jason. I played Gloomhaven twice.
Gloomhaven, that's right.
And I lost the second game, and now I borderline hate that game just because I lost the very second game, and the only option is, well, do it again. And I was like, no, I just lost. I don't want to do it again. I want to go to somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then come back to it and beat it up bad.
Well, we have Oath coming.
Oath.
So that's legacy.
That's true. It's legacy-ish, I think. Yeah. That's not one and done because you can like have multiple games going at the same time with that one. So that's good. Yeah.
We passed on Charterstone for that very reason.
Because it's a legacy. Look, the idea is there. I like the idea of it. We still haven't tried Pandemic Legacy. I want to try it. But it is also Pandemic, but I don't know. Convince me, guys, to jump in deep with these games, or maybe not. I don't know.
I try to convince him.
How do you feel about King's Dilemma? Because this one is mostly like one that I've been pushing hard for.
Sure.
Like, what do you know about it, or how do you feel about it?
Well, I know the Shut Up and Sit Down review.
Yeah, did it make you excited to play it, or were you just kind of like, well, we'll see?
No, I think I'm somewhere in between there.
Okay.
I would be excited if the rest of the table was excited.
Okay.
Because I think it's one of those games where everyone's got to be in the right mood.
Yeah.
If everyone is just like real passive or not into this whole idea of, not that it's an RPG necessarily, but this idea of taking on a certain
attitude. Okay.
And not necessarily, well, I don't know. I haven't really opened it up, but I get this impression from the review that you are taking on this personality based on what this house has in its past and what it's endured and what it's like, and so
it kind of influences how you may vote on articles or whatever the correct word is.
So you have to have people that can get animated in the best way, and then also not get butthurt.
Yeah, I hope there's no, like, I'll trade you 2 wheat for a brick scenarios where you look around the table and everyone's like, I'm not going to do it because he's going to win.
Right, or just when it starts to carry over when you leave and go to the snack table. Yeah. That's
that's fun in a way if it's done, like jovially. Is that
jovially?
There you go.
There we go.
If it's like fun, like, I can't believe you did that, you jerk. You know what I mean? Like, but if it's just like, I don't know if I'm coming back next time because you didn't trade me 2 wheat for a brick. And It's like, all right, well, 1 game into King's Dilemma and I failed another legacy game.
Yeah, we're all mad. So I am more excited than just blah, as you say.
Okay.
I'm excited for that game.
What if we went through a list of all of our friends and we said these would be a good person to play with or a bad person to play with?
I don't know. Do our friends listen to this podcast?
I don't think we should probably
no.
do that. That
is not a good idea.
Let me know if you've played King's Dilemma. Is it worth it? Am I hyping it up big? Are we correct in, like, you get what you get what you put into it. That's what I'm trying to say. So King's Dilemma, been doing that a lot. Not a lot, just been looking at the box because that's all.
Reading as much as we can.
That's true. And we're going on a little like staycation, vacation with the family next week, and we're going for like what 3.5 days, Angela.
Right.
And I was like, I think I'm gonna bring like 10 games.
Yeah, you packed the whole game.
But
backpack.
I scaled back, so we're good. We're bringing our hot ones, the ones that we played the most, that we've talked about. On this episode already, we're bringing some old favorites. Just looking to have a good time and relaxing and maybe playing some games. I didn't want to be without. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like if we're stuck in the woods, in the middle of nowhere, it's like, geez, guys, what do you guys want to do? And I'm like, well, I know what we could do. We could play Abomination.
Yeah.
I would never say
not
that.
fight for our survival. Let's just play a game. And probably a legacy game because we're going to be out here a while.
Yeah, we'll be stuck. It's like, let's bring Parks. We're going up to the woods. Parks. Perfect.
I love that alliteration.
Yep.
Parks, perfect, perfection.
How do you feel about my game selection?
It's a little lacking for me.
What?
It is.
Whoa, pause the show. Is it because I'm not bringing Stardew Valley?
Well, let's let the listeners
You can say it now. It's fine.
I have been really enjoying Stardew Valley.
Okay.
Although, honestly, I don't think I want to bring it up to a place or over or down to any place that will lose all the components it carries.
Yeah, and we'll touch on that in a little bit, but there are a ton of pieces to this game. So
okay.
why don't we just stop there, jump into the game here after this break, and we'll come back and talk about Stardew Valley.
That's perfect.
All right, guys, so we talked about it earlier. Let's talk about it more. We're talking about Stardew Valley today, which is a very fun game based on the same name video game.
The video game.
What am I trying to say here? I'm all over the place. But yeah, if you're a fan of video games, you've probably heard of Stardew Valley. It's on every platform. It's on the Switch. It's on the phones. It's on the PlayStations.
PlayStations.
It's all over the place. And I played it on the Switch, and it is very fun. Not to talk about video games, but it's like, for me, it's one of those games where I get so far into it, and then I don't play it for a while. It's like, okay, I get it. I can plant crops. I can make relationships with these people. Then I stop playing. Mm-hmm. And then when I load it up again, maybe a few months later, I have no idea what I was doing in my little farm. So I have to start all over. And then I get to the same place, and then I like burn out. And so then the next time I was like, oh, let's look at this again. And then I got to start all over.
Oh my goodness. That sounds stressful.
So that is my Stardew Valley video game review. It is a 7 out of 10. But
has nothing to do with the game.
But we're here to talk about the board game. So this was released a few weeks ago, really out of the blue.
Yeah, talk about the release.
I had seen it on Twitter or one of my favorite websites, IGN. They talk about video games, movies, entertainment, basically. And it was just like, I think the title was Stardew Valley is a board game now. And I was like, yes, please. And I clicked on it, expecting it to be a Kickstarter in 6 weeks, and then I would get it next year. But it was like, no, you can order this now, and it will ship tomorrow. And I did it.
And then the heavens parted.
Yes, exactly.
Ah.
So, very much an impulse buy because it did come out of nowhere, and no one knew it was coming. So Angela, the board game, it really hit you in the heart. You love it. But why don't you describe a little bit about what it is?
All right, everyone. This is coming from someone that has never played the video game.
That's true.
So here is the little breakdown. Stardew Valley is cooperative, and it's a game for 1 to 4 players. Players are going to work together to complete 4 grandpa goals and restore the community center. There is farming and fishing and foraging and mining. And basically it is just what it says on the cover, a game of farming and friendship.
Aww.
It's so beautiful.
It is like, that line right there is very like reminiscent of the video game. Because it's such a nice video game.
It's so nice. And the game is nice. So for me, it helps my brain to just picture this game as Robinson Crusoe with a completely different theme. And that is my overall summation of the mechanics.
Okay. Yeah, so Robinson Crusoe, you're lost on an island and you have to survive based on the scenario.
Well, that's the theme,
right?
But it's just worker placement.
Sure. But you're gathering resources to do what you need.
Yeah.
In this one, you're gathering resources to do what you need to meet your goal.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay. So then let's talk about the 5 things we like to talk about because they're important to us. And guess what? It's our podcast.
Back off, Daniel. No, I don't know what Daniel is.
Okay. Break down the game.
Yeah, let's do it. So, ease of setup or teardown. This is one we always talk about on the show. We touched on it at the beginning. We didn't want to bring this on our vacation because there is so much in this box. There's cards. There's tokens. There's dice. There's meeples. There's a board. There's little... What would you call, like, the fish tokens? Or
I would call them...
Tiles?
Tiles.
Sure, tiles, cards...
You forgot so many cards.
There are a lot of cards.
So many.
Normal sized, tiny cards.
So many normal sized cards. So many tiny cards.
Yep.
I just want you to picture as many cards as you can think of.
Mm-hmm.
And then double that.
Make them cute and have farm things on them.
That's how many cards are in Stardew Valley.
Yeah, there is a lot going on. And then to be fair to that, there's a lot of systems from the video game that they're trying to emulate in this game. So they need a card type for a lot of those.
Okay.
It's overwhelming, yes, coming from a board game, but they all kind of do tie into something that is going on. In a video game that may just happen behind the scenes, but on a board game, you can't really do that.
Setup is, and teardown, honestly, is very time consuming.
Yeah.
I want to get this part accurate so that people just know. Currently, setup and teardown has never prevented me from playing the game when I want to play it.
Okay.
But it has, it's definitely a big sigh. Like, I don't want to exaggerate, but I think setup maybe took me 15 to 20 minutes one time.
Yeah, the kids could have gotten in the way a little bit there, but it's a lot.
Yeah, true. I probably wasn't focused.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of play space. So think about your play area. Like, it takes up our entire table, which is 3 feet by 5 feet.
It does have one of my pet peeves, and like because there are so many cards, there's not a spot for the cards like on the player board, which is for me is A+ whenever you do that, because it just kind of fits everything. It kind of keeps everything contained to the world rather than having it sprawled out everywhere on my table. Yeah. That's just me.
Yeah. It's what another pet peeve, I guess, is that all the components don't store well either. So we have found some solutions just through like extra bags we've had, extra containers. We've actually talked about them. They're a storage solution we found at our local Dollar Tree.
Oh yeah, the dollar store bins. Get those for sure.
Yeah. I think we're using an extra like tub that you used to keep your hair gel in that we've washed out and repurposed as game token
this one
storage.
is lacking in the storage area. Not a lot of games, but you think of games like Parks that has that cool storage built into it.
Yes.
And even a game like we don't talk about a lot or even play a lot, and I'm going to mess up the name. It's like Wasteland Express Delivery Service.
I think you actually got it right that time.
Did I?
Oh my gosh.
Nice. We should play that game again. But that one comes with its own trays too, because there's a lot going on in that game. There's cards, there's tiles. It's like it's not the same, but it's the same.
The components can get everywhere.
I feel like they kind of went halfway with this one because they have the store, in quotes, where you keep all of the crops that you can buy and grow and all of the minerals you can mine. Like there is a tray for that.
Yes.
There's no top for that tray, so
No.
I can't put the game up on its side other than having like 112 tokens fall out of it.
Yeah, and an extra added bonus to that is that you have to keep whatever's under it level so that the tray doesn't tip over.
Yeah, it's finicky. I'm sure we could dig around BGG forums to find like a 3D printed version of a great storage.
Sure.
And it's out there. It's just something that it's a pretty high barrier to get into this game, especially coming from the video game. And maybe you're just a huge gamer, and then you're like, oh man, Stardew Valley has a board game. I'm gonna check it out. I would be very turned off to board games because of this.
Just because of the setup?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it would take so you play a video game, you really just press the button and it starts.
Totally.
I know it's different, and you do have to set up board games, but this one, there's so much to set up to even get going.
There's a lot. Yeah. So we're not gonna sugarcoat this one. There's a lot to set up and tear down.
Yeah.
It's a hard set up and tear down.
For sure. But that doesn't mean it's a bad game. Doesn't mean it's not fun, which we'll hit, but it's tough.
Yes, and very time-consuming, especially for a solo playthrough.
That's true.
Because if you're the only one setting up and tearing down, because you're playing solo, it's a lot of work.
And the game moves much faster when you play solo. So you can get through a whole game in maybe 25 minutes.
Probably more like 30.
Okay.
Or more.
And that's fairly quick. Now, when the setup is about half that time as well, you know, that's...
It's a lot.
The balance is off.
So you get the point.
Yep.
It's got a lot of components, a lot of setup and teardown. Okay. How accessible is learning to play?
I think even for me, it was kind of confusing to learn how to play. Because there's not... You have 2 actions as a part of the game to do. And then the hard part for learning how to play is just to know what actions you need and when to do them.
Okay. So I think we'll probably agree on this point when I'm done with my thought.
Okay.
But I would say it's fairly easy to learn how to play.
Okay.
You do only have 2 actions. So once you learn what your options are, I think it's fairly simple. We've played games that are the rule book says play takes place over the course of 7 phases. And it's great. All right, here we go. We got 7 phases to learn. This has 3 phases and they're fairly simple, flip over a card.
That's true.
Do what it says. Do your planning phase, do your action phase, done.
Yeah.
So I feel like that part's simple. I do think there's it's going to take a while to master, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the hard part, to piggyback what I said earlier, is each location that you can go to has a set of actions. And so knowing what those are at each location just takes looking it up. It's I don't remember what that is. What can I do here? Mm-hmm. And remembering what those are. Some only have one action. It's oh, well, I go here to fish. Duh. But some of them have 3 different places that you could go on your turn. And just knowing what's what can get a little confusing. Right.
And of course, anytime we have a cooperative game, we say being cooperative helps with this idea. Of learning all the stuff, the fact that it's cooperative just helps.
Oh, for sure.
Because you have more people around the table all trying to help you and not themselves.
Exactly. You're no, what does this again? It's oh, this is the place where you mine. Mm-hmm. It's oh, okay. What happens when you mine? It's oh, well, now you got to look at this deck and then roll the dice. There's a lot going on even within all those actions too, but cooperative does help.
So yeah, it's probably something where you want to bring it to the table if you're around other people who game, or maybe you just love Stardew Valley, the video game, so you already have that threshold of anticipation there, or there's a willingness to deal with a little bit of rule booking at first.
Yeah, I
where
think
you have to look back and see what actions are available where.
Yeah, I think that was our situation. Like, I had played the video game. I'm not super into it. I don't love it, you know? So we had to sit down and figure out what all of this was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How immersive is this? I think you should go first because you're the one who's immersed yourself in the video game experience.
Yeah, okay.
And then also the board game.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other board games that I have that are based off a video game.
Sanctum.
Sanctum, yeah, it has the vibes of like Diablo.
Okay.
And I can see that. That's pretty cool, but it's not like a 1-to-1. This is Diablo the board game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
okay.
So the story is different between those two. This one is exactly the same. Mm-hmm. Your grandpa passes away and leaves you the deed to a farm, and he says you should go live here. And so you go and live there, and you make a living selling crops, making friends, and it makes me smile how almost exact they are to each other. Mm-hmm. You see people walking around the video game that you can meet in the game. There's a stack of the many cards that are the is it villagers?
Yeah.
That part of the main goal of this game is to make friends, and that's very important in the board game. I haven't gotten that far in the video game, to be honest. Like, I've given people gifts, but they haven't been like, oh, we're friends now. But it's cool to see those two parallels between the two. Fishing is really fun in both of them. I like fishing in both games. The mine is a little different, but it's so cool. They hit the main notes of the video game into the board game, and that's why there's so many things that we talked about that we had to set up, because there's a lot going on in the video game that transfers over to the board game. It feels like the video game, so I would say it's a pretty immersive experience.
Yeah, especially if you're looking to mimic that video game experience.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like, I feel like I'm farming. I get mad when the crows come up and get my crops. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you invest a lot into what you're trying to build and do.
Yeah.
And so when something comes along and messes it up, it really like impacts the game. It kind of frustrates you. I think that's key, not a key. What's the word I'm looking for? Indicator that it's immersive.
Yeah. And I think they've got good little things, like the fishing mechanic that you mentioned is like a draw bag, tiles from a draw bag, and dice rolling to fish them out of the lake or the river or the ocean. And the making friends, like gifting people things, and they are your friends, the crops. Yeah, all those things you mentioned, I think really add to the experience of what's happening, for sure.
Yeah. And there's a lot happening.
There is a lot happening. Yes. Yes. All right. So, is it fun?
Is it fun? Why don't you hit this one?
Okay. Well, yeah, I think it's fun. Okay, and I know that well, I guess I should say the prevailing thought that I see on most of the stuff that I read is that this game is not good. And I can agree with all the stuff that those people are saying. I don't disagree. Like, a lot of people say that it's very luck heavy, which Christian might get into here. I'm just anticipating that he will. Okay, I agree. But there's something that maybe it's the theme that just keeps me coming back. And this is coming from someone who's never played the video game.
Yeah. And I kind of want you to play it now after this.
Maybe.
And you probably get lost in it.
Maybe. So I think it's so much fun. I have like beef with the setup and teardown. Okay?
For sure. I think everybody who's played this game has that.
And so that's just there, whatever. But once I'm actually playing it, I really have fun. I really like worker placement games. My brain likes them. I think of Robinson Crusoe, and I think of Abomination.
Yeah.
And anything where I have to like choose, or Everdell, like where to take my actions and how to best maximize my movement is really fun for me. So I have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you do have a lot of fun, and I would say more fun than what seems like people online are having. They can't. It's hard to get over the luck thing.
Sure.
I feel now. I will say, I like luck in games because
you usually like it more than me.
I know. I like luck when it's. I don't saying it part of the game. I don't know if that really makes sense because it's part of this game. But I think back to like one of your not favorite games, Cosmic Encounter Duel, which is just pure luck. And maybe it's more like a going into it thing, like going into playing this game, like I know to expect the unexpected. When I'm playing a farming simulator where I make friends and maybe get married and grow crops, like the amount of randomness, maybe you just don't expect that much. Let's talk about the mines, for example.
Okay.
So going into the mines is an action you can take. And to go into the mines, you say you're doing it, and then you roll a dice, right? You roll 2 dice, and you have like little coordinates. And depending on what map you have of the mine determines what you might get.
Correct. So you would match up the coordinate like Battleship.
Sure. Right? Yeah. So also, depending on what floor of the mine you're on, determines what you might get.
Yeah.
Right. And so
it determines what the monster effect might be if there is one.
Sure.
Yeah.
But depending on what you do earlier in the game affects that. I'm okay with all that right now. Like it's totally fine. The problem that I just can't seem to get over is like, okay, I've got my geodes, which you crack open to maybe find a gem or maybe ore, which both are really important to one of those grandpa goals, you know, especially the ore. Ore seems really hard to get in this game. So I get a geode. But now it's not a guarantee that I'll even get what I need because I have to roll more dice at a different location for another action. And it may be something that I can find walking around the village. You might get stone. So I went so far deep into the mine, had a great roll, got lucky. Now I'm going to go break it open. Rolled poorly. I got stone. I move my token. I flip open one of my foraging tokens. Oh, look, I got stone again.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of like...
layered luck?
Yeah, maybe that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me hate the game. It just makes me go, huh, I wish that wasn't like that.
I think there are people out there that just really... I don't know if hate's the right word, but they have found a way to just like... kind of luckily write the game off because they believe that it's not, I don't know if possible is the right word, but just it crosses over into nearly impossible or something for them.
Sure.
Based on like quite like a game calculus. I have this many actions over the course of this many seasons. And so I'm going to get this many actions the entire game. Okay, how many actions is it going to take me to do this grandpa goal? So it's this calculus that they've done. And everything that these people are saying is correct. Except I would maybe argue that people are not taking into account the importance of the cards. The so many miniature cards. That can give you extra actions. They can give you extra detonations at the mine, which is a terrible place to be if you don't have something to make it easier, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
So
there's ways to overcome it, especially with the mine. You could upgrade your pickaxe, and that solves a lot of things at the mines. You can go in and get exactly what you want, but it takes a lot to get there. Which might be frustrating for some people.
So, anyway, there's something in this that just keeps me coming back for more. It is fun to me. I smile every time I play it. And that has something to do with the theme, of course. Something to do with the mechanic. They're all woven in there for me. Maybe less so for you, but I don't think you hate it.
No, I don't hate it. I think for me, it's just the worker placement thing. It's not my favorite.
It never has been.
No, it never has been. I'm not a good planner. So worker placement usually requires planning a turn or two ahead. Mm-hmm. And I'm usually just like, what can I do this turn? That's the way I play. And so I lose a lot of games because of But, like, I guess I would say to the people online, if you could solve the math problem of Stardew Valley and there was no randomness and you won every time, would that be fun?
Yeah, would that be fun?
I don't know. I don't think so. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't like losing. I talked about my Gloomhaven loss, and it hurts. It hurts bad.
Hurt. Oh.
So I don't know if winning every time is the answer. At least for me, luck upon luck is not the answer either. But I'm okay with it with this game.
Yeah,
it's not a deal breaker.
Right. Okay, so our fifth category is it worth it? Is there some replayability here, and how much did it cost for us? So I think for all the component reasons we mentioned earlier, tons of replayability.
Oh, for sure. I've played it a handful of times, and every time is different.
Yeah, so there's tons of new villagers. There's a whole slew of different map cards you could have. There's every time you're rolling dice, just by the nature of what dice are, it's going to be different. You have different tiles you can draw out of the fish bag and out of the mineral bag.
It's different every time.
Yeah.
And those grandpa goals,
change.
We should say you have to solve 4 every game. I think there's 8 total to choose from.
Yep.
So you can randomize them. You can pick what you want. Do whatever.
Sure.
But you could have those be random. The what are they called? The other goals.
Oh, the community center.
The community center. Yes. Those are other goals that you do need to complete as well in order to win. So it's like every game, it sounds like a lot. You have like 10 goals that you have to do. But it's different every time. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So many different like combinations.
And I think it hits our sweet spot of player count. Like, this game can be played 3 and 4 player because I think you mentioned it earlier. It's shorter with 1, so I think the box says about 45 minutes per player.
Okay.
So it's our sweet spot is like 2 people.
Yeah, and a third if we have a friend over. Usually doesn't change much. I think this is one where it'd be great at 3 too.
Yeah.
Usually for some reason when we jump up to that 4 player, especially in cooperative games, they take a long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
So I can see we haven't had 4 during this game, but I can see how that would be just a little bit too long, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's one of those too where, because it's cooperative, you always have like the resources times the number of players. And so that it just kicks everything up a notch. What once took 8 now takes 16 or whatever. And it's just, at times seems like that number is so large with more people that it's hard to get there.
Yeah. So for us, it's definitely got a place on our shelf.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was worth it. Excuse me.
Whoa. Are you tired?
I guess so. I mean, it's only...
Have some coffee, Christian.
Yeah, it's only 8:30. Jeez. Oh. It's the price of a normal game. I think you can get it. You can find it on the website now. If they're sold out, they're doing another run, a print run of it. But yeah, it was worth it, especially for the amount that you've played it and the amount that you probably will play it in the next year.
Yeah.
Just because for whatever reason, it's scratching that itch for you.
It is. All right, guys, we're going to come back in just a little bit and talk some more about what our thoughts were during this game.
More thoughts.
Of
Stardew Valley.
This episode is sponsored by Showit. Are you stuck in a boring website template? Maybe you don't even know where to start. Experience the true creative freedom with the drag and drop simplicity of a Showit website. Our website, marriedandbored.com, is a Showit website, and we love how simple it is to create. Get started for free at showit.co. You won't be disappointed.
All right, well, there you have it. Comprehensive breakdown and conversation on Stardew Valley.
Comprehensive. Yeah. Absolutely.
No, we hope you enjoyed our conversation on Stardew Valley. It's kind of a controversial game right now.
I guess so. The game of farming and friendship.
Yeah, it's become the game of not that. But yeah, coming from us, if you agree with what we say most of the time, then give this game a try. Especially if you know somebody who has it and you're on the fence. Go play it. I think you'll enjoy it, especially if you're in the game world already.
Okay, so when we discussed the fun factor part of this game, we mentioned that there's some people online who are writing reviews about this game.
Jerry.
Is his name Jerry?
Probably.
Oh, okay. Christian's making it up.
I'm really mad at Daniel and Jerry tonight.
And I have mentioned, I'm not mad at these people. I agree with what they say. I just disagree with the overall feeling.
Gotcha.
So, they have opinions about this game, and I've seen, I guess maybe I'm piecing together based on what they're saying, that they're playing through this game 5 times or less, and then writing this review.
Okay.
Okay. So it brought up this thought that I posed to Christian. Do you owe a game a certain number of plays before you can write it off or decide that it's not for you?
Oh, yeah. I think my initial reaction is yeah. I think you do. Next question.
No, you have to give more.
No, I'm trying to stall so I can think of some games that fit into that category for me. So maybe one that I am kind of pushing hard for another look at is Arkham Horror card game. And we've talked about it before that we bought it. It didn't
meet us where we were at.
Yeah, that's right. And so like we played it twice and we're like, whatever. And now we're all into this Marvel Champions game. And Arkham Horror is very similar. We love that world too with
Mansions of Madness.
Yeah. So it makes sense that we should like this game. And maybe we did write that one off. So I would like to play that one more.
Okay.
So that's one for me.
Okay. So you're saying that it would be unfair to decide a game is not for you without playing it through.
Yeah.
How many times do you think?
Well, I know in this example that game is good.
What game?
Arkham.
Oh, yeah.
It's still around. You know what I mean? Like, if it's not a good game overall, it's gone. You stop hearing about it. But this is one that is pumping out expansions after expansions. It's still living very strongly, I think. Mm-hmm. So, like, and I'm just like, what is it about this one? I owe it more. But as for an actual number, I think it depends on the game. Sure. I really do, because it is such dependent on the mechanics of this game. For us in Stardew Valley, or for me, playing it 2 times, I still was like, this game is impossible. Like, there's so many dice to roll and cards to draw that just randomize your chances. Like, and I was on the random people's side.
Yeah, no, we both were. We were both. I think we were both frustrated after 2 plays.
Yes.
But now I'm sitting here in this very different place. That,
like, on the other side of actually winning a few times.
Yeah, like, I've won. So this mental calculus that people are doing, I'm like, no, it's not impossible to win. And yes, I have checked the rule book. I mean, I can get things wrong, so feel free to let me know if I did. But I have won. Do I predominantly win? No. But I have found a way in my own play style of this game, especially solo, to mitigate a lot of that luck.
Sure, yeah. And I think that in this game only comes with more play.
Right. So that makes me think, like, these people, and that's fair if they're just done with the game. That's fine. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, especially about a board game. Maybe it doesn't have a place on their shelf. That's totally fair. Listen, there's games that I don't really want to play again. Sorry, Cosmic Encounter Duel.
Aww.
But maybe I owe that one, I don't know, another shot before I write it off. I feel like I just want to, in the best way, look at these people that are like giving it Stardew Valley poor reviews and just look at them and say, but play it again. Like, keep playing it. And then maybe their answer would be, but I don't want to play it again. And okay.
Well, go to bed.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's time for bed.
Go to your room. That's what I'd say. No. So it made me think, not just about this game, but other games that I've maybe have played 2 or 3 times and decided to write off.
Do you have one that comes to mind other than the Cosmic one? That one seems like one that you probably never will like, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But is there one maybe that we haven't mentioned that you're just like, yeah, I'd be willing to give that one another go?
I mean, maybe not to the extent, but Sanctum, I guess. I just didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really care for that game.
Yeah.
But for you, like, I can definitely remember when we played Welcome 2.
Yes.
And Christian was just like, he played it once and he was like, this is not my game.
Yeah, I think that was a poor timing entry to my game.
Yeah.
To that game.
Yeah. So maybe it makes you think, did I write that off?
Yeah, I probably did. And I probably should revisit
it.
Vegas. Welcome to Vegas. Or whatever it is.
Yeah. But I guess in the strictest sense of the word, you don't owe a board game anything. No. Like, you can play what you want to play and enjoy playing.
Yeah, and people, they have the right to say, I don't like it, I'm done.
Totally.
And they'll write a review on it online, because that's the online world.
Just to me, I feel, for me personally, I would have missed out on so much of the fun of this game if I would have stopped when I was frustrated.
Yeah, definitely.
And so
I would have been frustrated too if we didn't end up liking it more than we first did. Because it's Stardew Valley, and if you know anything about it, it's just such a fun and like charming video game, if I'm allowed to say that. You know,
it is charming.
And I think one thing that maybe helped us too, like in this one, I feel like it's okay to get close to winning. Like, I feel like you still had a successful session if you got close.
Yes.
Because there's so many goals, you sometimes know, I can't do that one. It's just not going to happen. Now, depending on when you realize that, if you realize that early, and then it might be a different story.
Right.
But if you realize that towards the end, or if it's like all coming down to the last 3 mine rolls, and you just don't get it that time, I think that's okay. It's frustrating, but and if you did everything else perfectly except that one, the game got you there. I think I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. It's easier to be okay with that with this one. Yeah.
All right, let's say goodbye to Stardew Valley for this episode.
Yeah, definitely. And as always, if you play Stardew Valley, let us know what you think about it. Let's just transition real fast into wrapping this show up, Angela. Should we do that?
How do we transition super fast?
Just like goodbye. No, so yeah, if you've played Stardew Valley, like I just said, let us know on our social medias. You can chat with us there. But before we go, we like to talk about what brings us joy, happiness outside of board games.
Absolutely,
Angela.
Yes. Well, I don't know if this is fair. I'm going to need like a ref to weigh in on this.
Okay. Ed Hocules is here.
Okay. Is he in a tight shirt?
Yep. NFL referee Ed Hocules.
Okay. Because I was going to say Harry Potter. Now that is a board game and it has board game iterations out there. But for me, Harry Potter, we have just started the journey of reading these to our kids over the past month or so. And it's been so fun to read. I feel kind of embarrassed to admit this, but I don't know why. I am an animated storyteller.
Oh, wow.
How do you say it? I
I don't know. That's big of yourself to call you that.
Well, how would you? I was trying to think of how to describe it.
Well, I think you can just say, like, you do voices.
Oh, I do voices. So I do voices. I'm not saying I do them super well. I'm just saying I can't just read a story.
Yeah.
I have to do the voices.
But to the kids, you don't do it to yourself. You don't read your own books out loud.
That is correct. I don't.
Jessica got coffee with Julie and was like,
no, to the kids. So
yeah.
I've been really enjoying trying to figure out how voices are going to sound.
That's true.
Ron sounds like he's from Ireland, Scotland, hybrid, depending on the night. Hermione is definitely American, and so is Harry.
What's your best? What do you think your best is? I'm not going to make you do it unless you want to, but I'm just wondering.
Maybe my Dumbledore.
Okay, yeah, you do haha, poop. A good Dumbledore.
Thank you. My least, the one I've struggled with the most is, well, okay, I was going to say Snape.
You want to have a Snape off?
Yeah. I don't know.
No?
I think I've gotten much better.
Yeah, you have.
Okay, Christian, let's hear your Snape.
You go first.
No. That's not fair. He's bringing the heat and then tells me to go first.
Okay, ready? Here we go. Please. See, I can't do it. Turn to page 494.
Potter.
See, I can't do it on the spot, but if I'm just like vibing hard on Harry Potter, I can do it.
Okay. So my Snape would be like this. Harry, Hermione, and Ron.
That's pretty good. I think if they had to recast Snape, I think they would pick you.
They would.
In the animated series.
My Dumbledore.
Oh, wow.
Is like this.
Harry. To piggyback on the animated reading, I've been working from home as you do this year, and I've heard screams from upstairs, and I've been like, what just happened? And then I go upstairs, and they're just sitting on the couch reading Harry Potter. So it does get animated. Yes. But it has been fun. I've been listening to most of what you read with the kids because we do it before bedtime. And it's been fun. I haven't read those books in a very long time. Mm-hmm. And I like them more than I thought I did. Mm-hmm. Especially the early books. I'm not a fan of the early books. Or I thought I wasn't.
I am.
I thought I wasn't, and now I'm more of a fan. Maybe it's the voices.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what's really hard is differentiating between all the Weasley brothers.
Yeah, but there's
just no way.
I think that's the point. You're not supposed to. They're just all the same.
They all have the same voice.
Hello, Harry.
No, it's not that bad. Okay, Christian, what are you thinking about in bringing you joy outside of board games?
I got a dope jean jacket for my birthday.
Yes.
No, it was funny. I wore it for the first time the other day, and two of my friends from work were like, is that a jean jacket? I'm like, yeah, you can see it. It is a jean jacket. What else would it be? Anyways, so it was nice to get complimented on my clothes, even if it was via Zoom.
Did they compliment you, or did they just observe?
They're just kind of like, is that a jean jacket? And I was like, yeah, it is. And they're like, oh, cool. So that's how guys talk. We're not going to be like, oh, man, that T-shirt, man, where did you get it? I'm going to go buy it.
So just an observation?
Yeah, we're just observational, like, fashion talkers.
All right.
You guys can relate with that, right?
I will. The next time you want me to compliment you, I'll just observe.
No, that's fine. Yours fine.
I don't want that you're wearing an outfit today.
Yeah, next time I go into the office, I'll be like, you are wearing jeans with a gray T-shirt. And then see what someone says. Yeah. Like a robot.
Yeah.
You know. And then you wrote work Google sheet in the notes. That is not bringing me joy. Sorry. I don't know. Why did you put that on there?
Well, you were trying to make a joke before we jumped on the podcast.
Was it up when we launched?
And so we opened Christian's computer to kind of get launched here for recording. And there was a work Google sheet that was on his computer. And I was trying to be wonderful and nice and say, Christian, why don't I make a note here of what is on your mind outside of board games?
Yeah.
And you said, I don't know, this work Google sheet. and so that's what I typed.
Well, it's true.
He was trying to be funny.
I must have been working on it. So there you go. Yeah, my jean jacket, obviously. I have one. Those who saw it, and they said something. So there you go. Other than that, I've been reading still. I read the Red Rising book. I'm looking forward to reading number 2. I'm reading a Star Wars book right now. So, yeah, just enjoying that and watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine for some reason. 99.
To all the peeps out there.
They say it in the show.
Okay.
It makes sense. Okay. So if you're a fan, I'll talk to you about that too. But that's what I've been doing. So
awesome.
So what?
So what?
So yeah, guys. I hope you guys are having fun out there, playing a lot of games. What brings you guys joy besides board games? Let us know. Our top 3 in no particular order are reading, coffee, and
jogging. I don't know.
Jogging. Okay, maybe
No.
for you, not me.
Not jogging.
That's so funny. Angela, you haven't jogged in like 8 months, and that's the first one that came to mind. Oh, I love it. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up because Angela is laughing uncontrollably. Just guys, we love when you talk to us. Talk to us on Instagram at @marriedandbored. You can find us at Twitter. Hey, let's get our Twitter following up. And the problem with our Twitter is it's not @marriedandbored. I think it's just @marriedbored, which is really annoying, and I can't get the other name. So @marriedbored, please come follow us on Twitter. I would love to have more than 12 followers. So if you can come follow us on there, we're trying to post more. You can see our daughter's drawing of Stardew Valley that she did, and a few other things that we kind of tweet about that we don't always put on Instagram. I think that's it. Oh, email hello@marriedandbored.com, and marriedandbored.com is the website. Anything else to add, Angela?
And if you would be so wonderful as to pay us a compliment, or as Christian says, just observe that our podcast is great on Apple reviews.
Yeah, leave us a review.
That would be wonderful.
Wherever you're viewing and observing our podcasts. We appreciate all the listens, guys. We will hit you up in a couple weeks with another dive into Marvel Champions.
Ta-ta for now.
TTFN.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Thanks for listening to this episode of the Married and Bored podcast. And guess what? We have a website where you can listen to podcast episodes and so much more. Find us at marriedandbored.com, or you can email us at hello@marriedandbored.com, or follow us on Instagram @marriedandbored. Music in this episode is by Joseph McDade. See you next time.